All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
We are back. Welcome to another episode of the SmackDown Lowdown, hold down, mow down, toe down, throw down, roll it around, smack it up and down, bring it around, flip it up and down. I am your guest host for this episode, standing in for my brother Teddy Long. He's not feeling well, under the weather. Get well, Teddy Long. Peace, love, brother. We're gonna get right down to it because I ain't got a lot of time for you. But this is another episode of the SmackDown Lowdown. That's right. So while we're at it, let's talk about it, y'all. SmackDown is a week removed from Clash in Italy, but WWE is already focusing on this year's Queen and King of the Ring matches. The quarterfinal round in both brackets is comprised of 4 fatal 4-way matches. So far, Io Sky and Obafemi advanced on Monday, and then whoever wins the crown will get a guaranteed world title shot. So there is more on the line than a decorative hat this time. That's right. So first and foremost, SmackDown opened with a recap of Clash in Italy, and Gunther comes out. He grabbed the mic and began ranting about being screwed out of the title at the PLE because his foot was under the rope during the pin. Cody Rhodes came out. Can I just tell y'all for a second? I am getting sick and tired of this good, nice Cody Rhodes. Like, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting so sick, fed up with it. It's not entertaining anymore. He's got to, grab the title, put it down on the ground, do his whoa. Gwen Burris, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. He's got to do his whoa with the fans and everything like that. Then he's got to get the pyro hit. Then he got to shake hands and take pictures with the fans as he's walking down the aisle. Bro, Gunther's sitting there looking at you, looking like a damn complete idiot. If I was Gunther or I was anybody else in that position, I would go attack him right then and there. Like, I would not hesitate. I would not wait, because there's no way you're going to make me sit there and look like a goofy while you're doing all your emotes and everything like that, or farming the crowd a bunch. Like, no, we're not going to hear about this. Anyways, Cody Rhodes comes into the ring, asks Gunther why he's so mad, and tell him that he is going to get a chance at the WWE Championship again. When next thing you know, out comes Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn is talking about how he deserves a shot at the WWE Championship, and he's tired of being looked over, and how, Cody Rhodes never makes time for him, and that's why their friendship is in the state that it's in right now. And Cody Rhodes tells him, like I said, that he's a little bit busy at the moment, which pisses Sami Zayn off even more. Gunther eventually comes in and attacks both men, and it ends with Rhodes hitting Zayn with a suicide dive when Gunther pulled them into the path, and Gunther scurries away. Cody Rhodes offers his hand to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn looks at him and walks away. Like I said, the segment is what it is. Gunther's going to get a WWE Championship match. Spoiler alert, 2 weeks from now in Kansas City, Gunther's going to get a WWE Championship match. Also, it's believed to be on SmackDown, but then also Gunther next week is going to name the stipulation of that match. So we'll be looking out for that. But I don't know. All right, so next we move on. Raquel Rodriguez versus Jacy Jayne versus Kiana James versus Bayley in the Queen of the Ring tournament fatal 4-way match. So first match of the night was a Queen of the Ring quarterfinal, a fatal 4-way match with Bayley, Raquel Rodriguez, Jacy Jayne, and Kiana James. Liv Morgan, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed did not accompany their allies to the ring, but James insisted that Julia join her for support. Bayley went after Raquel and clotheslined her out of the ring. Bayley looked especially strong in the early minutes of this match by fending off all three opponents, but the numbers eventually caught up to her. The match lasted through 2 breaks, so there was time for all 4 women to have moments in control for everyone else. James and Julia had a miscommunication that led to James losing. The Beautiful Madness tried to help her friend to her feet, but James blamed her for the loss. Julia tried to explain, but when James shoved her, she lost it and attacked her. Love to see that. Love to see a good girl fight, cat fight. 2 girls fighting. Like I said, of course, Raquel Rodriguez ended up scoring the win to advance in the tournament. Good for Raquel Rodriguez. I think this is all leading towards the Judgment Day breaking up. It's more women than men in the Judgment Day now. It's like 3 women, 2 men in the Judgment Day now. So, and Liv Morgan is acting like she rules the world. So I'm very, very excited to see them put her in her place. Danhausen and The Miz had a hilarious segment backstage. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. It looked like Danhausen electrocuted Miz and killed him. So yeah. Next up, we got Royce Keyes versus Tala Tonga. So the 2 behemoths clashed this week when the giant Tala Tonga took on the powerhouse Royce Keyes. If you come into a match like this expecting technical exchanges and wrist lock, you're going to be disappointed. If you expected 2 big dudes hitting each other as hard as possible, probably had a ball. These were 2 big meaty men slapping meats is what you got here in this match. And I mean, for what it worked, it's worked. Solo and Tama Tonga tried to get involved, but Keyes fought them off. Tala used the opportunity to hit this choke slam to get the pin and the win. R-Truth tried to make the save during the post-match attack, but he was beaten down to Damian Priest pulled Truth from the ring, but he left Keyes to be taken out. WWE clearly has no idea what to do with Johnny Gargano. It's sad because he's such a great worker, but they did another segment with him. Also, Chad Gable returned backstage during the backstage segment. Obviously, Sami Zayn went into Adam Pearce's office and was talking about, how he's tired of being overlooked. And I'm sorry, he went into Nick Aldis, not Adam Pearce's office. He went to Nick Aldis's office and was talking about how he was tired of being overlooked and tired of not being considered for a championship match. And of course, Nick Aldis said he had a meeting. He was a little bit busy, which again plays into this. Nobody has time for Sammy angle that they're using. But he turns around, he asks who, and it is none other than Chad Gable there, looking distraught, but looking like a grizzled veteran. I don't know. There's something different about Chad Gable now. He has a different look in his eye, but I appreciate it. I'm not mad about it. I'm curious to see where they go from here with Chad. But anyway, Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill and Michin. So Rhea Ripley came out in street clothes with a knee brace on her right leg. She bragged about beating Jade at Clash in Italy, but she said it came with a cost. She said Jade and her cronies failed to beat her because she had some unexpected help, which prompted Charlotte Flair to join her in the ring. The Queen said she has had more fun teaming with Ripley than expected, but she still has her eye on the WWE title. Never lose sight. A Flair always attracts the gold. They were soon joined by Tiffany Stratton, Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab. Flair suggested Jade and one of her allies faced her and Tiffany since Rhea isn't cleared to compete. Nick Aldis loved the idea and called it for the start of the match as the show returned from break. This match had a few moments, but for the most part was a snore fest. Cargill was able to get the win for her team when she hit Stratton with the Jaded. Interesting, the WWE champion pinning the United States champion, but I mean, it works, whatever. There was a video package aired during these segments that to hype Finn Balor moving to SmackDown. The Viking Raiders showed up backstage with their AAA tag titles, freshly won 2 weeks ago, AAA tag titles. But yeah, like I said, next up we got Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints. Now, I believe these two would thrive as a tag team, but WWE has them fighting each other right now, and I don't hate it. These matches are pretty good too. Last week, Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes fought to a double countout decision, so they were hoping to have a clear winner in their rematch this Friday. As soon as Hayes was done posing, Saints jumped him. The ref called for the bell, and he continued his assault before Hayes could even get his jacket off. Ooh. Excuse me. He ended up sending Ricky out of the ring and hitting a dive, followed by a huge frost splash for a 2 count. All of this leather, all with all this leather jacket still on him. They did a great job making this feel like more of a personal battle. And then their last match, they were taking little shots at each other between bigger spots, and it added to the intensity very nicely. Saints almost won by countout, but Hayes made it back in time. It ended up not being enough to win because Saints had him rolled up with a handful of tights a moment later to steal the win. These two did a really good job in this match. It felt like they might have been still holding back a little bit. I think it's still got a little bit more to go. I'm of the mindset a triple threat match between Ricky Saints, and Carmelo Hayes, and of course Trick Williams is money. That's a good money. That's a big money match. I don't know if they're trying to save that for SummerSlam or stretch it out that long, but that's a big money match there. Anyways, next up, we got Lash Legend versus Chelsea Green. After beating Nia Jax last week, Chelsea Green was hoping to continue building momentum this week against Lash Legend. Green is not a short woman, but she was dwarfed by Legend when they squared up. Green got the first shot in and then ran away from her until she was able to bait her into the ring for a code breaker. Legend quickly recovered and took control. Jax attacked Green while the ref was distracted, but it wasn't enough to take her out of the fight. Green put up a good fight, but Legend and Jax were too much for her to overcome in the end. This match wasn't bad, but it felt like they were never quite found their groove. It also felt a bit quick, but at the end of the day, Lash Legend defeated Chelsea Green. This is all a setup for none other than the Glamour to show up and be Chelsea Green's new partner. She tried to get Tiffany Stratton to be in her corner, but Tiffany didn't seem interested. But that's okay because Blake Monroe is on her way to SmackDown, and I do believe she is going to end up being Chelsea Green's partner, which I don't hate the idea of them. They could almost be like the Iconics, but like blonde version, maybe. I don't know. That's weird. Whatever. It works. Next up, we had Damian Priest versus Trick Williams versus Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio. This week's main event was the men's quarterfinal fatal four-way match in the King of the Ring tournament with Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, and Trick Williams. So coming into this match, Breaker and Williams seemed to like the safe bets to win, especially with Breaker looking so dominant in the first half. However, with 4 people involved, Braun didn't have to be a part of the final decision to lose, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Morgan prevented Priest from pinning Dom by distracting the ref, and it looked like Breaker would take advantage of the situation, but more shenanigans ensued after that. After Breaker took himself and Williams out with a flying clothesline into the announce table, Morgan hit a low blow that helped Dirty Dom hit the 619 and get the win. I'm telling you guys, I've been talking to the rest of the We Book It crew, and I told them it would not surprise me at all if Dom Mysterio is either runner-up or wins the King of the Ring tournament. And if he does do either one of those, I really think they're going to give him the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's just my thought process, but I don't know. It's either him or potentially maybe they finally give it to LA Knight. But I've teased that 3 years in a row, and it never happens. So we'll see what happens. But listen, this was your episode. Obviously, match of the night has to go to Carmelo Hayes and Ricky Saints. I also did enjoy the first match of the night, as well as that men's fatal four-way match. All in all, this was a good B+ SmackDown coming off of Clash of Italy, or the SmackDown before Clash of Italy, where I felt like they really phoned it in. I really felt like Triple H did a good job putting the match together. Whoever wrote the card, wrote out the promos and everything like that, I think they did a really good job this week. B+ episode of SmackDown, and this is your host Virgil with the SmackDown Lowdown. Until next time, keep those book and pencils sharp